Welcome to Stoic Spirit, the channel where ancient wisdom meets modern challenges. Have you ever sent someone a message, only to feel like time has slowed down while you wait for their reply? You start overthinking. Are they not interested? Are they upset with me? Or are they just busy with their own life? This is a common situation that leaves many of us feeling uncertain and frustrated. Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind why some people take so long to respond, even when they genuinely care about you. Is it their personality, a lack of interest, or maybe even a strategy to appear less available? More importantly, we'll uncover how adopting a Stoic mindset can help you approach these situations with calm, patience, and confidence, rather than unnecessary anxiety. At Stoic Spirit, we believe that true strength comes from mastering your emotions and focusing on what you can control. If you're ready to explore how the principles of Stoicism can bring clarity and peace into your relationships, stay with us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and support the channel for more practical insights into living a wiser, more fulfilled life. Let's get started. Reason 1. They're genuinely busy. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one. They're genuinely busy. Life can be hectic, filled with unexpected demands and responsibilities that consume a person's attention. Work deadlines can stretch into late hours, studies may require deep focus, and family obligations might leave little time for personal communication. In such cases, checking their phone or replying to messages becomes secondary, not because they don't care, but because their priorities are momentarily elsewhere. Think about how you feel when you're juggling a packed schedule. Whether it's a full day of meetings, rushing to meet an important deadline, or managing personal responsibilities. Even when you genuinely value someone, it's easy for non-urgent messages to slip through the cracks or get postponed until a quieter moment. This doesn't mean they don't appreciate your presence in their life. Instead, it's a reflection of the overwhelming pace of modern living, where time is often stretched too thin. It's important not to take this personally. Their delayed response may not have anything to do with your importance to them, but rather their ability to manage the demands of the day. This perspective is crucial to maintain emotional balance. Adopting a Stoic mindset here can be helpful, reminding yourself that their busyness is outside your control and not a reflection of your worth. When you allow space for their circumstances, you not only show understanding, but also give the connection room to grow naturally, without unnecessary pressure or misunderstanding. Reason 2. It's their personality. For some people, delayed responses aren't about a lack of interest, but rather a reflection of their personality. They value their personal space and prefer not to feel the constant pressure to reply immediately. For them, communication is something to be done mindfully, at their own pace, rather than being dictated by the immediacy of notifications. This doesn't mean they don't care about you. It's more about how they navigate relationships and interactions. They may need time to process their thoughts before responding, or prefer dedicating full attention to a reply when they feel ready. Immediate responses might feel rushed or insincere to them, so they intentionally choose to wait until they can engage more meaningfully. Think of it as a way they maintain balance in their life. For someone with this mindset, constant connectivity can feel overwhelming or even invasive. They might see delayed replies as a healthy boundary, ensuring they communicate when they feel ready rather than out of obligation. Understanding this can save you a lot of unnecessary frustration. Instead of interpreting their slower pace as disinterest, recognize it as part of their personality. From a Stoic perspective, this is a reminder to respect others' preferences and focus on controlling your own reactions rather than expecting others to behave the way you would. By approaching the situation with patience and empathy, you foster stronger, more respectful connections. Reason 3. Playing the mystery card. Some people intentionally delay their responses as a way to appear more intriguing or less available. This psychological tactic is often used to maintain control in a relationship or to increase their perceived value. By not replying right away, they create a sense of scarcity and make themselves seem more desirable. This delay can trigger curiosity and heighten your desire for connection, leading you to think more about them. Sometimes even overanalyze their behavior. Essentially, the person is trying to manipulate the situation, keeping you on your toes, wondering if they're truly interested or just playing hard to get. It's a power dynamic, where the more you have to wait, the more invested you might become. However, it's important to recognize this strategy for what it is, a game. While it may initially seem like a sign of intrigue or interest, it often reflects insecurity or a need to feel important. If you find yourself constantly waiting for someone to respond, it's crucial to evaluate whether this behavior aligns with your own values of respect and authenticity. Relationships should be based on genuine communication, not mind games that leave you in a state of uncertainty. Understanding this dynamic can help you navigate interactions with more clarity and prevent you from getting caught up in manipulative tactics. Reason 4. Loss of interest. At times, a delayed response can be a subtle sign that someone's interest in you is starting to diminish. While it's perfectly natural to feel disheartened or even confused by the lack of communication, it's essential to understand that this might not be about you personally. People's emotions and priorities evolve over time, and sometimes those shifts lead to a reduction in their enthusiasm for a particular relationship or connection. The delayed responses may not indicate ill intentions, but rather a growing sense of disconnection or a shift in focus toward other areas of their life. This can be difficult to accept, especially if you've been investing your time and energy into building the connection. But it's also an opportunity for personal growth. Instead of falling into the trap of overthinking or desperately seeking reassurance, take a step back and reassess your expectations. Are you placing too much weight on this particular relationship? Is it fulfilling your emotional needs, or are you holding on to it out of habit or fear of letting go? Sometimes, this kind of delay can serve as a gentle nudge to help you realign with your own priorities. It's an invitation to focus more on yourself and evaluate whether this relationship is truly adding value to your life. The truth is, not every connection is meant to last, and that's perfectly fine. By recognizing when someone's interest is fading, you allow yourself the freedom to move on and open up space for more fulfilling connections. It's also a reminder that our worth is not tied to another person's level of interest. True peace comes from within, and from relationships built on mutual respect and care. How a Stoic mindset can help you handle this situation. Let's take a look at this now. Accept what's outside your control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This timeless wisdom speaks directly to situations like waiting for a response, where external events, such as how or when someone replies, are beyond your control. It's easy to get caught up in wondering why they haven't responded yet, or assuming it's something personal. However, the Stoic mindset encourages us to recognize that their behavior is entirely their own, and it doesn't define your worth or value. You cannot force someone to respond faster or in a certain way, just as you cannot control their feelings or actions. But what you do control is your reaction. You have the power to choose how you respond to the situation, whether that's with patience, understanding, or detachment. By accepting that some things are simply outside your control, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Instead of becoming anxious, frustrated, or upset, focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your attitude, and your actions. You get to decide how much weight you place on someone else's response times. This perspective allows you to cultivate inner peace and resilience, knowing that your happiness and self-worth are not reliant on external factors. It's a reminder that true strength comes from within, and your emotional state should never be dictated by someone else's behavior. Focus on your own actions and values. Instead of anxiously awaiting a reply, use the opportunity to focus on what truly matters: your own actions and values. The more you invest in yourself, the less you'll rely on external factors like someone else's texting habits for your sense of fulfillment. A fulfilled life comes from living authentically and staying aligned with what you believe in. Use this time to engage in activities that enrich your mind, body, and soul. Perhaps it's learning a new skill, diving deeper into a personal hobby, or dedicating more time to your career or studies. You can also choose to nurture your relationships with family and friends, spending quality time with those who bring you joy and support. Every moment spent focusing on your growth is a moment that strengthens your sense of purpose and self-worth. By prioritizing your own well-being and passions, you're less likely to become fixated on someone's delayed response. Your happiness should never be tethered to the whims of someone else's actions. Cultivating a life centered around your values will give you the emotional stability and strength to handle any situation, whether it's a delayed text or a change in the dynamic of a relationship. In the end, when you're truly focused on living a life that aligns with your values, the waiting game becomes much easier to navigate. Don't let emotions rule you. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In moments when you feel frustration or anxiety creeping in because of a delayed response, remember that your emotions are within your control, even if the external circumstances are not. Overthinking or assuming the worst about the other person's intentions will only lead to unnecessary stress. Instead, practice patience and choose to respond with calmness. The more you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, the more power you give to situations that are ultimately beyond your control. Resist the impulse to send multiple follow-up messages or bombard the other person with questions about their delay. These actions may feel like a way to regain control, but they often only push the other person further away and increase your own anxiety. Instead, take a deep breath and remind yourself that your peace of mind is more valuable than chasing someone's validation. By choosing to respond calmly, you demonstrate emotional maturity and self-discipline, two key components of a Stoic mindset. In the long run, this will help you build stronger, healthier relationships and cultivate inner peace, knowing that your sense of self-worth is not dependent on someone else's actions. Practical advice for you. Observe patterns instead of making assumptions. It's important to remember that a single, slow reply doesn't necessarily mean someone isn't interested in you or that they don't care. Everyone communicates at their own pace, and there are a variety of reasons why someone might take longer to respond. For some, it could be a result of a busy schedule, family obligations, or work commitments that make it difficult to reply promptly. For others, it might simply be a personal habit or preference to not always be glued to their phone, or they may take more time to compose a thoughtful message. People have different rhythms when it comes to communication, and it's essential to be mindful of that before jumping to conclusions. Rather than reacting to a single instance of delayed communication, try to take a step back and observe the overall pattern of their behavior over time. Do they consistently make an effort to reach out, even if their responses aren't always immediate? Are they still engaging with you, asking questions, or participating in meaningful conversations when they do respond? These actions, even if they come with some delay, can be strong indicators that the person values your connection and is making an effort to stay in touch. If someone continues to show interest in you, even if they don't reply right away, it's a good sign that they care, but just have different communication habits. It's easy to get caught up in the anxiety of waiting for a response and assume the worst from one delayed message, but doing so can cloud your judgment and lead to unnecessary stress. When you focus on observing the pattern of their responses over time, you'll get a clearer picture of their level of interest and investment in the relationship. If the delays are occasional but followed by thoughtful, engaging communication, it's likely just a reflection of their lifestyle or habits, not a lack of care. By taking the time to observe the bigger picture, you allow the relationship to develop naturally without creating unnecessary pressure or jumping to unfounded conclusions. Looking for patterns helps you understand the person's behavior in context, making it easier to respond with patience and empathy rather than frustration. It also allows you to maintain emotional balance, ensuring that one isolated moment doesn't cause you to overreact or misinterpret the situation. Keep in mind that communication is a two-way street. The consistency of their behavior over time is a much better indicator of their interest and investment than any one delayed reply. People express care and affection in different ways, and focusing on the broader pattern rather than isolated events helps you build a more realistic and balanced understanding of the relationship. Communicate openly and respectfully. When you notice that their delayed responses are bothering you, it's essential to address the situation with calm and understanding, rather than letting frustration or anxiety build up inside. Suppressing these feelings or allowing them to simmer can lead to misunderstandings and unnecessary tension. Instead, approach the issue with empathy, recognizing that the other person's circumstances may be outside your knowledge or control. This not only shows that you care about their well-being, but also prevents the conversation from becoming accusatory or demanding. A simple, non-confrontational message can go a long way in creating space for dialogue. For instance, saying something like, "I've noticed you've been responding a bit later than usual. Is everything okay?" can open the door to a meaningful and respectful conversation. This phrasing avoids sounding judgmental or frustrated and instead expresses concern in a way that is open and non-threatening. By approaching the situation in this way, you allow the other person the opportunity to explain their side, whether they've been dealing with a busy schedule, personal issues, or something else affecting their ability to respond in a timely manner. This method of communication prevents you from jumping to conclusions or making assumptions, which can often lead to unnecessary conflict. It provides the other person with the space they need to explain themselves without feeling cornered or defensive. Moreover, it creates an atmosphere of mutual respect where both parties can feel heard and understood. When both individuals approach each other with open minds, it fosters a healthier and more supportive dynamic in the relationship. In addition to being open, it's important to remain sensitive to the other person's situation. Not every delay is a sign of disinterest. It could be the result of genuine external factors that have nothing to do with you. By acknowledging this, you reinforce the value of empathy and patience in your communication, which helps to strengthen the bond between you. Effective communication isn't just about being honest and direct. It's also about being mindful of how your words affect the other person. Maintaining this sensitivity ensures that both of you feel comfortable expressing your thoughts, concerns, and feelings without fear of creating unnecessary tension or misunderstandings. This approach encourages openness, mutual respect, and emotional maturity, which are key ingredients for building strong and lasting relationships. When you handle these situations thoughtfully, it allows both of you to feel safe in sharing your perspectives and working through challenges together, without feeling as though the relationship is under threat. It also helps to create a foundation of trust, where both people are encouraged to communicate freely and without fear of judgment, making the relationship stronger and more resilient in the long term. Shift your focus inward. Instead of placing your happiness in the hands of others, especially when waiting for responses or seeking validation, it's crucial to take ownership of your own joy. Relying on someone else's behavior to determine how you feel, whether it's the timing of a text or their level of engagement, only sets you up for frustration and disappointment. Your emotional well-being should never hinge on external factors that are beyond your control. True happiness comes from within. And when you direct your energy toward your own personal growth, you begin to understand that your worth is independent of anyone else's actions. Instead of dwelling on the delay of a text, use this time to invest in yourself. Dive deeper into your hobbies, whether it's exploring a new skill, pursuing a passion project, or continuing your education. By engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, you create a sense of purpose and accomplishment that doesn't require validation from others. Pursue things that bring you peace and satisfaction, knowing that the happiness derived from these activities is genuine and self-sustained. Additionally, focus on nurturing relationships that bring positivity into your life. Spend more time with friends and family who uplift you, without worrying about whether someone else is responding as quickly as you'd like. Deepen the connections that make you feel supported, and cherish moments of shared laughter and understanding. These bonds will be more fulfilling and meaningful than any fleeting exchange with someone who may not be as engaged. Don't overlook the value of solitude either. Time spent alone offers an invaluable opportunity to reflect on your thoughts, reevaluate your goals, and reconnect with your inner self. It's in moments of solitude that you often find clarity, peace, and insight that can be hard to achieve when constantly waiting on others or distracted by the chaos of everyday life. Alone time allows you to be present with yourself, to practice self-compassion, and to focus on your personal growth without outside interference. When you build this internal foundation of self-worth and independence, you'll notice that your reactions to external events, like delayed responses or changes in communication, become much less impactful. The more secure you are in who you are and the stronger your sense of self becomes, the less likely you are to feel anxiety or insecurity in your relationships. Your happiness won't be dictated by the presence or absence of a response. Instead, you'll find joy in the things that you can control: your actions, your growth, and your mindset. This shift allows you to navigate life with greater emotional stability, knowing that the only validation you truly need is your own. The more you focus inward, the more you'll realize that true peace comes from aligning with your values and nurturing a life built on your own terms. Remember, a delayed response isn't always a bad thing. In fact, it's important to recognize that there are countless factors that can influence someone's response time, and it doesn't always reflect their feelings toward you or the value they place on your relationship. Sometimes it's a reflection of their priorities, personality, or current life circumstances. They could be dealing with a busy work schedule, personal challenges, or simply have a different communication style. Understanding that not all delays are personal helps you to release unnecessary anxiety and avoid jumping to conclusions. It's an opportunity to practice patience and embrace the Stoic mindset, which encourages us to focus on what is within our control, our own reactions, thoughts, and emotions. By adopting this Stoic perspective, you can detach yourself from the need for constant validation or instant replies, and instead focus on what truly matters: your peace of mind and self-worth. When you recognize that their response time doesn't determine your value, you're free to live with greater emotional freedom. You can shift your attention away from the distractions of waiting and worrying and invest your energy into things that nurture your inner peace, growth, and happiness. The more you focus on cultivating a fulfilling life for yourself, whether through personal growth, deepening your connections with others, or pursuing your passions, the less you will rely on someone else's behavior to define how you feel. In the end, the right connections will never leave you feeling uncertain. They'll be built on mutual respect, understanding, and effort, and you won't have to second-guess where you stand. If someone's behavior does leave you feeling uncertain or anxious for long periods of time, it may be life's way of guiding you towards something better. Relationships should uplift and enrich your life, not drain or confuse you. The universe has a way of redirecting us toward the people and situations that are truly in alignment with our values. And sometimes, delayed responses are simply a sign that it's time to let go of a connection that no longer serves you. So next time you're faced with the uncertainty of a delayed message, take a deep breath and remember that your peace and happiness are in your hands. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and that every experience, no matter how small, is an opportunity to grow stronger and more resilient. Let go of the need for external validation and start embracing the power of your own inner strength. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this perspective helps you navigate your relationships with more peace and clarity. If you found this content helpful or insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with more videos on personal growth, Stoicism, and living a fulfilling life. Your support means a lot and helps me continue to create content that adds value to your journey. If you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, and remember, true peace comes from within. See you in the next video.